Okay, now everybody, what's going on? This is the Information Man Show. So much is going on these YouTube streets as it relates to Umar Johnson. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Every time we turn around, there's a new breaking story about this man. As you know, just this past weekend, Honors came out with a breaking news story about the fact that Umar, the property is under siege. The property is at jeopardy of being auctioned off. They have served him with paperwork, and Umar has debts that are going way, way back to 2016, 2020, 21, I believe even 24 and 25. We're going to look over that just very briefly because Umar goes into a rant. He goes on Instagram and he does the usual thing that he always does, ladies and gentlemen. And what is that? He plays the blame game. Umar Johnson likes to blame people for his shortcomings. And it isn't a good thing. It isn't a good look. He looks bad to blame it. Now he's blaming it on racism. He's blaming it on his detractors, people that have been criticizing him. He's doing everything that we've all said that he was going to do, that when it all came out in the wash, that Umar was going to blame it on racism. He was going to say that the city of Wilmington is being racial towards him. They don't want to see a black school be open. And the fact of the matter is, Umar just didn't have his fiscal responsibility together. That he did it to himself. He doesn't know real estate. Remember when he was on the the Godcast with Lord Jamal, and Lord Jamal said to him, "Did we get the best real estate? Did we get the best deal? Because I have a brother-in-law or a father-in-law who's opened up a school that can give you some help." And Umar fell apart. He got angry. He got flustered, as he always does, because he does not want help. Let me also drop this on y'all. Way back in the history, there was a family, a black family that had land that wanted to donate land to Umar to build a school from scratch. He refused to do that. He refused to allow black people who wanted to help him with fixing the roof, people who had a background in as electricians. He always gives people to run around who really want to help him because he does not really want to build a school. He wants to continue to con you. So now this whole thing, it all makes sense. I talked about it on my last video. All of a sudden, his accounts are frozen with the bank. All of a sudden, he has no money, but his accounts are frozen. But he's still driving around in a rent-a-car. Even in a rent-a-car he was in when he was doing all that ranting about it was racism against him. Umar Johnson told you and me that he was stone cold broke. His mother and him needed help. He needed help keeping the electricity on in those abandoned buildings that he's about to lose. Now he wants to act like he got blindsided by the government in Delaware, Wilmington, the city of Delaware. I mean, the state of Delaware and the city of Wilmington. He wants to act like that he's been blindsided when this man knew he had these bills. And another thing that you guys have to also realize is that, and Honors talked about this, that when Umar purchased these buildings, he took on the debt that was already on the buildings when he purchased them. That was part of the deal. So once again, Umar is not a real estate man, right? And the problem is he didn't hire the right people to give him the right advice. And this is why he finds himself in this situation, because he's been running a con. The man is above his ability here. This is way above his ability. He thinks, because he tells you and me, because he's a psychologist, that he knows everything. Umar doesn't know a damn thing. He's been running this game, and now this has all been exposed. So in this video, I'm gonna react to what Umar had to say, because I'm gonna shoot through a lot of bullshit and holes in his argument. Once again, Umar is continuing to lie to the public, mislead the public. This man is not trying to open up a school. You know, if Umar would just be honest and tell black people, hey, I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time. Black people are some of the most forgiving people on the God's green earth. But because he continues to tell this lie, all he's doing is digging a deeper and deeper trench for himself. And more people are waking up to the fact that this man is lying. So when it comes now to the paperwork that we put out there in my video, I showed you how you can look at the docket. Honor showed you how you can look at the docket, the website. We dropped the website in there to look at the docket in Delaware, in their city website, that shows you the evidence that the city of Delaware, the city, no, let me correct myself. The city of Wilmington in the state of Delaware is versus Frederick Douglass. They're versus Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson wants to act like he doesn't know what's going on. This man has been derelict in paying his bills, and he's not even paying the lowest bills that he owes. If you're sitting up there asking black folks for money and hit the Cash App all these years, hit the PayPal, and you're not even paying the basic bills and you've let them build up, and Umar is standing on this ideology that he should have been granted a 4-year waiver by the city of Wilmington. He's saying I should have been given a waiver. I did some research, everybody. We're going to shoot holes through everything that he said, because everything that he said is not true if you don't have those abandos fixed up. What am I saying? Umar is lying, everybody, because this is the way it works. When you buy property, you have to keep that, you have to start working on that property, making the area in that property proper for them to maintain a waiver for you. And in some cases, they'll give you a waiver, but then you've got to build. If you're still in construction, they give you a short amount of time to have progress. Umar keeps saying that he wants to get a certification of occupancy. He's not going to get that, because to get that, you've got to pass permit inspections for electricity, water, plumbing, everything. Now, Honor said this on his show just last night. I've been saying this too, that if you go and do some research where those so-called buildings are, that he wants to build a school, it is located in an area that is an environmental disaster. It's a browning environment zone, which means there's toxins, there's all sorts of things. The city of Delaware, Wilmington, the state, Delaware, and the city, Wilmington, their goal is really to condemn that area, tear those buildings down that Umar purchased, repurpose the area, repurpose the land, and then connect it to a boys and girls club, and to redevelop the land so that the youth in the community can have something. Umar is holding everything back. This has been going on for a while. Now, let me also, before we get to the video and question at hand about that video, let me also let you also know something else about Umar. Once again, Umar, where's the damn school? Where's the damn school, Umar? Again, his father is the culprit behind why Umar is the way he is. I said it in my last video that his father, he never had a good relationship with his father. His father sent him to military school. Oh, by the way, for those of you that are wondering, why is it that Umar is always saying that he's related to Frederick Douglass? Well, the reason why he believed that, because it was his father. I meant to say this in the last video. It was his father who put that in his head, that he was related to Frederick Douglass. The father himself later came out down the line and admitted through DNA testing, and Honors has talked about this, that Umar Johnson is not related to Frederick Douglass, that's been a long con that he's been running. And even the Frederick Douglass family themselves have told Umar to cease and resist, stop saying that he's related to their family member, because he's not. They're saying basically, we don't know this Negro called Umar Johnson. It's quite a mess, everybody. So let's get into it. Oh, by the way, let me give you another reminder that Umar, this is the breakdown, everybody, the real breakdown, that Umar owes $38,388.22. That's the legitimate breakdown. Now, he has done nothing with these abandoned buildings. Here is an example of what they look like. They still look like this. Now, some time back, he took the boards out of there, and you saw that there were windows. There are windows where these boards are. But other than that, Umar has done nothing with this building. There are no real schools. There's no libraries with real chairs, real books, real things like this that you see right here. This is a real school library, okay? Now, he has been running this long con for quite some time, telling you and me that he is about the betterment of black boys. And we know that's a laughable situation. Umar says that he's for black boys, that he could fix the problem with black boys, that he can help them with their behavior issues and all these other nonsense things that he says. And his main audience, again, is black women, right? He does everything he can to get into the panties and pants of black women by appealing to black women, by saying that he can help their black son, by appealing to the idea of helping the black son. Therefore, that's his gateway and that's his doorway into getting to the cookies, as he calls it, to crushing their cookies. And as a result, in his car, in and out of his car, whether it be in his car, out of his car, in a hotel, motel, and Holiday Inn, Umar is collecting money, constantly telling you to hit the PayPal. Remember, this man, Umar Johnson, once upon a time had a Cash App. The Cash App got taken down. They got on to him. Then after the Cash App, his daughter comes out and exposes him as a deadbeat father who's never been in her life, who's not consistent. This man flies to Africa when he finds out that his daughter is in critical situation, almost tried to take her life, and he doesn't fly back and get to her, but he's flying all over the world on black people's dime, on your money, every which way but loose. And Umar is continue to run his game. Now, let me put this up here. As I did before, this man owes a lot of money, and we're going to go over this. That goes all the way back to 2016. Umar is going to start talking about that he was supposed to be given an exemption from paying these fees because he's a non-profit and all this other stuff. But there's rules to it, Umar. You've got to have structures built. You have to have something real. And the problem with Umar, ladies and gentlemen, why he's in this mess is because he never registered the buildings. So Delaware, Wilmington, the city of Wilmington has had those buildings that he calls FDMG Academy. They're not a school. There's nothing happening up there. There's no faculty, no nothing, no seats, no desks put in, no hiring of faculty. Those buildings are not fit for anybody, not even a dog to be in. And that's the truth, everybody. And I'm telling you the truth.
Tell the truth.
Okay? I'm telling you the God's honest truth. The buildings are not fit for anyone to be in. And he's telling you, hey, I need money. Come on, I'm broke. My accounts are still frozen. And then you got to ask yourself, why is his account still frozen? I did some more research, and usually banks will give you about 5 to 10 business days to fix the problem, if not sooner than that. Umar told us that he would have the problem resolved on Friday. They said on Friday, and now he says, okay, on Monday, and now nothing has happened, because this is why. I believe that everything that's happening to Umar as it relates to these abandoned buildings that now look like they're going to be up for a sheriff's auction, that, to me, this is not a coincidence that he has accounts frozen, if it is in fact true, because you know he's such a grifter, that he's also having problems with the buildings because everything is linked to taxes, liens, all these things, bills and debts that he has not paid off. And I read this to you all in my last video, that you can get your account frozen in your bank account when you have unpaid debts, when you have liens on you. You can have tax liens, you can have IRS down your back, breathing down your back, all sorts of things. So it all makes sense to me right now why Umar is catching the kind of hell that he's catching given the circumstances. So let me get into this right now. Let's hear Umar and his rhetoric, and let's get at it right now, everybody. Peace. I appreciate you all here. Let's get into it.
We are fighting this war against FDMG and Dr. Umar Tunde. We are fighting this war against FDMG and Dr. Umar Tunde. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We still haven't got our refund.
again, why would to me, let me know in the comment section, do you think that it's a coincidence that Umar gets hit with this, I guess, this suit or this desire for the Wilmington wants their freaking money, Umar? Isn't it interesting that he's getting hit with all these fees that he has not paid at the same time that his account is now frozen? I'm going to argue this point here, everybody, that Umar knew everything about this. He's simply saying this to you to appeal to you to give him money, because this is a part of the con, right? To come out and say, hey, I don't have access to any money. Oh, by the way, the city of Wilmington is now trying to take the schools away from us, y'all. Take the schools away from me. This is all a part of appealing to get money out of you. And the people that he must appeal to the most are black women, who are his biggest followers. Let's keep that in mind, shall we? Let's go.
We still haven't got our refund. We still haven't got our refund. So not only are the accounts frozen, not only are the accounts frozen, make sure y'all hit my Venmo and my PayPal. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist.
Here we go.
PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or tap my Venmo. Text me for the links to donate to FDMG. Text me for the links to support Dr. Umar.
Now, you know why he's asking for this money? Because he needs the money. But then ask yourself again, how is he able to afford the rent-a-car that he's in? I talked about that in the last video. But he's appealing to you to give him money because he's telling you my back is against the wall.
215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. On August the 5th, brothers and sisters, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a notice to auction off the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus for unpaid vacant property registration fees.
Boom. Let's put this up right here. This is fact. This is a fact. This is a copy or a blown up, zoomed in example of this document that was sent originally to Lennon Honor. Okay. And he sent this to me, as I told you all this past weekend. Taxes, water and sewage charges, December 19th through 16, December 30th through 2024 through May 9th. Exterior improvement charges 2021. Vacant registration fees from 2020 to 2025. This man did not pay to register these properties and take them off the vacant list. Why would Umar keep them on that status with all the money that he's been collecting? Why would he not get these schools? He keeps telling you that they're a school. He keeps telling you that he's going to open up a school, but this man has yet to take the buildings off the vacant registration. He has not registered them to take them off of being vacant property, which is why Wilmington is within their right to do with what they're doing to him now. This is crazy, y'all.
I repeat, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a lien to auction off the campus we bought, the campus we've been working on for 6.5 years. I was not notified of
6.5 years that you haven't done anything. And let's just correct this right now. These are not campuses, everybody. They're just buildings. Remember, he's got the buildings that he calls the high school, the elementary school, one building which is that has the bigger gym. He doesn't even go over there. I guess that would be the high school. He doesn't even go over there. Last time he went over there, we saw that it was trashed, that it had been vandalized in there. That man hasn't done anything. They're charging him for all these pieces of property that he's done nothing with, while he's crying crocodile tears to you about how these are buildings that we purchased. Umar, I'm going to say it again. You don't know a effing thing about real estate. You should have gotten people around you who were experts in various things. You should have got a person who's experts in real estate. You should have had someone who's an expert on building school. You should have had expertise of people around you. But you're a one-man show. And you keep talking about how you're going to open up next month. You're not opening anything up. Folks, do you think he's going to lose these properties if he doesn't pay the 38? Do you think he's going to lose it if he don't pay this money right here? Put in the comment section, do you think he's losing these properties? Does Umar have the money available to knock off this bill? Now, because he's going to claim that he's already gave them $30,000 before. Let's continue.
We were not notified of this. This past weekend, without an email, this past weekend, without a letter in the mail, this past weekend, without a phone call, the city of Wilmington put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools.
Right. And they have every right to do that, Umar. See, the problem is, Umar, your claim is that they didn't send you a letter. They didn't send you, mail you anything. They didn't send you an email, but they did put it on the property, which is appropriate for them to do. Okay. But what you're trying to run away from is the fact that had you taken care of the bills and not allow this shit to accumulate from 2016 all the way up into 2025 right now, you wouldn't be in this situation if you were a more fiscal, responsible person, if you were a man, and if you were honest with people that have supported you and given you money over the years about what's really going on. The problem is that Umar is not transparent, y'all. He don't show you the books. He don't tell you how much money he needs for this and that. He doesn't show you like how far he's at in terms of finishing the school. He doesn't show you what the goals are. He doesn't give you any measurables about these schools. We don't see any construction workers up there that have blueprints in hand. We don't have anything that allows us to trust anything that Umar is saying, everybody. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's get back to it.
Informing me that if we don't pay the past due, vacant property registration fees, and outstanding utilities by the 25th of Black August, they will sell our campus.
Right.
Brothers and sisters, can I ask you a question? Why were we not notified that they were going to try to sell our campus? Brothers and sisters, why are they trying to sell our campus at the very moment that our accounts are frozen?
Because, Umar, no, this is happening to you as a result of your poor derelictness in terms of handling the business, as we call it. This is why this is happening. So what he's trying to do is to appeal to the people that support him, because every time something happens to Umar, he has to be a victim. He has to define himself as a victim and say that they're coming after me. This is happening to me because my haters are coming after me. The racism and women. Look, if they really didn't want Umar to have these buildings because they didn't want a black school in an area that's low income, that has a large black population, they would have easily not allowed Umar to buy the buildings in the first place. So why would they allow him to buy the buildings, give him an opportunity to get the shit together, and then turn around and say, we're going to take it away from him because we don't like black people or that we're racist? Now, racism does exist. Systematic racism does exist. Institutionalized racism does exist, excuse me. But I'm sorry, this ain't a case of institutionalized racism towards Umar. Umar's had those buildings for damn near over 6 years now going. And the truth of the matter is, he just didn't take care of business. And this is why this is happening to him. This has nothing to do with racism. This has to do with the fact that Umar hasn't done anything with these properties. How can he blame racism and blame anybody for him not taking these buildings off the vacancy status? Why would he let them stay on the vacancy status going all the way back? Let me put this back up here. He's had it on vacancy status. If you look closely at this document, it's got Lennon's name over it. But if you look closely at this document, why would Umar Johnson have these buildings on vacancy status since 2020 to 2025? He's done nothing to get them off the vacancy status. This is crazy, everybody. Let's continue.
Brothers and sisters, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence?
Hell no. It's you,
Is
Umar.
it a coincidence that the city of Wilmington is trying to sell properties that we own and have been working on continuously behind our backs? They were going to sell our schools behind our backs. They didn't even tell us that they were going to try to sell our schools. We received no notice in the mail. We received no notice by email. We received no phone calls at all that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door handle.
I want to stop it right there because I showed this in my video over this past weekend, everybody. Umar is trying to make himself once again out to be a victim, that this is racism, that they targeted Umar because he's building a black school. Let me let you see this list again. Boom. This is the list that Umar is on. It's not only Umar that's on this list, but there's several other schools. Let me enlarge this in here. Look at this. Now, as you can see right here, there are other properties. There's the Douglas, Frederick Douglass and Garvey. There's Owens, Donald, PG and Sons. There's other properties. I'm gonna move this up and down so you can see what I'm talking about. Look at these other properties. These are all the properties in Wilmington, Delaware, that are on the list of vacant properties, and all of them are at risk to be auctioned off in a sheriff's auction. All of them. You got the Safe House too. They're on here. Glad, these Mainstream Project Incorporated, Sunday's Breakfast Mission. These are other businesses that Wilmington is in the process of actually selling and auctioning off because they probably have not paid their fees like Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson wants to act like he's a victim, like they're only coming after him because it's about trying to stop a black man. No, they have other people on the list here. Let me put another one up. Here are other properties. Let me enlarge this so that you can see. Again, there's other properties here. Let me enlarge it to the screen again. There are other properties. This is not just an Umar Johnson. Let's attack Umar Johnson at FDMG school. These are other properties, other names, other businesses, or other buildings that have not been taking care of their fiscal responsibility, and therefore they're on this list along with Umar Johnson in the Frederick Douglass Academy. These are the businesses in Wilmington that have been delinquent with taking care of business. They're all up for a potential auction. Do you dig what I'm saying, everybody? I want you to put 7s and write comments in the comment section of this podcast when you get a chance, because Umar is a damn lie and the truth is not in him. They're not targeting him because they've got him on a list with several other businesses that are in the same jeopardy as these so-called buildings that he purchased, that he wanted to build into a school, but has done nothing with them substantial. Okay, let's continue with this.
Somebody stole one set of notifications and sent it to the YouTubian struggle streamers. Somebody stole the Frederick Douglass High School paperwork off the front door and sent it to the struggle streamers.
And that's irrelevant, everybody. It doesn't matter if anybody stole the paperwork and gave it to anybody on YouTube, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, the people who stole the document that he's claimed, which I don't believe him. Anybody that took the documents off the property, it doesn't matter, because the people that took it, they didn't create the debt. This debt was created by Umar Johnson. You see, when women come out and tell you that he's a sucker, when women come out and tell you how he uses them, right? When the women come out and say he's an abuser, he's a sexual fiend, and everything like that, then Umar has to blame Honor. He has to blame Miss Stacks, who's come out and exposed him. Everything is someone else's fault. He never takes ownership. When his account gets hacked, or he claims his account got hacked by hackers, or that his account got frozen, he doesn't take any ownership in him and what he's done for it to be that way. It's always someone else's fault. He also said that Honor and Mrs. Stacks were responsible for that. So is he trying to say that Honors and Mrs. Stack are responsible for the documents being taken off of his door, or for him being served with documents because it represents something that he's been derelict at not doing, which is taking care of the damn business? Y'all tell me what's up about that, everybody. Y'all tell me, okay? Tell me something, folks. Am I crazy, or is it that Umar is the one that's delusional? Let's continue.
But luckily for us, Sister Ra Ebony was able to get the paperwork off the Marcus Garvey School before the haters stole that paperwork.
See?
I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion.
Now, Umar is playing the game right here for those of you that's watching the video, because it's a known fact that when Umar does something stupid, the people will leave messages in his Instagram during his live streams, and then he'll turn it off so that he doesn't have to see the messages that are negative towards him. Umar wants to, he's a control freak. He wants to control everything. He has to control everything. He has to control the narrative. He has to tell you that what you saw isn't real. Don't believe your lying eyes. Now he's telling us that we shouldn't believe that he's a fistful, irresponsible man, that is just some racism or Wilmington trying to stop him from opening up a black school. And like I said before, everybody, if that was true, why would they even sell him the property in the first place?
I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion, I believe that they were going to sell the school, and they wanted to sell the school before we found out. I believe that they wanted to sell the school before we found out. We were not supposed to know that they were going to sell our school. Why do I say that? We were given no notification. We received no letter in the mail. We received no email. We received no phone call that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door.
Yeah.
In a low-income neighborhood, they put a notice on the door with rubber band and masking tape.
So look at what Umar just did. It's almost like he's here. This ninja has purchased abandoned buildings in a community that he claimed he wants to help by educating black boys. He is angry that his business has been put out on the door. That's the real reason why he's angry, everybody, that they put the business on the doors of these abandoned buildings. Because why? Because that would expose his bullshit to everybody, because like he said, someone took it off, right? So Umar didn't want anybody to know about this. And I think he's mad that we now know about his effery here. And so he's trying to save face, because I think he's embarrassed by the situation, even though he's trying to act like a tough guy here. Umar did not want people to know this. Okay. But what he did here is he said they left documents on the door in a low income neighborhood. You see what he just did? He just marginalized, underestimated, undervalued the people in the community. Now, mind you, this is a low-income community. That is fact. This is a community that I think in 2023 was rated number 9 when it came to drug use and violence and what have you, somewhere in there. Okay. But the fact that Umar gets mad about them leaving the document on the door, and then he says, and y'all did it in a low income, what that shows you what he thinks of the very community that these buildings are in that he brought. So the logical question that I would ask everybody out there is, why would Umar Johnson buy these buildings for a potential quote unquote school? Why would he buy it in a low income area if he feels, if he thinks so much of the people in this area that he would tell me and you that he was mad that they left this letter of the auction that they're going to put on him, and he's mad that they did it on the doors of these buildings, and especially that they did it in a low income community. So that's telling you that he thinks very little of the people in this community that he's claiming to educate their black boys. He's a hypocrite. He's a piece of shit. And he's a man who I believe is a psychopath. No empathy, no sympathy. Just that right there, I thought was interesting. Hear that part one more time.
We received no letter in the mail. We received no email. We received no phone call that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door. In a low-income neighborhood, they put a note.
Boom. What's the problem with them putting a notice on your door in a low-income neighborhood, Umar? Is it that you were afraid that the people there would know, or do you think very little of the people in this community? And if you do, the logic would tell me, why the hell would you buy these properties if you feel so low about the people? Let's move on.
Notice on the door with rubber band and masking tape. They put a notice on the school front door with a rubber band and masking tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Brothers and sisters.
And so what?
It gets worse. Back in April, when I found out about the overdue vacant property registration fees, I had asked the city of Wilmington if they could retroactively apply our nonprofit waiver. According to the nonprofit waiver for the city of Wilmington, if you are a nonprofit organization, they will waive your vacant property registration fees for 4 years.
This is the thing, everybody. He said back in April of this year, I believe. This is the problem. Umar Johnson didn't have any accounts. According to him right now, his accounts are frozen. He can't get any money, and that he's been waiting. He said that they were going to take care of it on Friday. Then he said we're going to wait till Monday, right? Monday's passed, and he still says he doesn't have any money. But back in April, his accounts were not frozen. He never came out and said that his accounts were frozen. Why didn't Umar Johnson take care of this situation back in April? Now he's sitting up here telling you that he applied for a waiver. And I'm here to tell you that this is bullshit, because I'm here to tell you I don't believe that Umar has a legitimate 501c or C3 nonprofit status, because his accounts are frozen. And I believe, and I've been saying this, that I believe that Umar has been commingling the money that he's been getting in donations into his personal accounts. He's been commingling. That's my opinion about it. And I believe, and I'm going to say it again, that the walls are closing in on Umar as we speak. I think Umar knows exactly what's going on, but he has to sell you a dog and pony show. He has to sell you a lie, because that's all Umar Johnson has been doing when it comes to black people, is lying to you through the glass of his phone, through using his Instagram. That's all he's been doing. How can we believe a man who doesn't even take care of his own blood? He has problem with his own daughter. His own daughter had mental health problems. His own daughter was reported as suicidal. And Umar Johnson did not take his ass back to the States and go straight to his daughter and be at her bedside or wherever she was that she was institutionalized at. Umar Johnson did nothing. How can we believe a man who's been carrying on this manipulation forever, whether it be the AC scam that he ran on us? He's got AC on those buildings, but it doesn't work. All we've been seeing is Umar doing superficial stuff like painting. He paints the small gym, but you don't see any desks. You don't see any hard hats. You don't see any real construction going on up there. And check this out. What Umar Johnson's not going to tell you is that in order to get a waiver for your vacancy fees, you've got to show that you've got a legitimate situation going. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you in a minute. Let him finish this here.
If you are a nonprofit organization in the city of Wilmington, they will waive your nonprofit vacant property registration fees for 4 years. If they would have applied our nonprofit vacant property registration waiver, we would owe absolutely nothing.
But you have to ask yourself, what is it that Umar didn't do that caused them, if this is in fact true, because this man lies so much, to not uphold it? Let me show you something up here. I did some research about this right here. To get a certification of, now he wants to get a certification to occupy these buildings. He's talked about this before, right? In order to do that, to get a certification of occupancy in Wilmington, Delaware, you need to ensure your property meets the local building codes and safety regulations. This involves obtaining necessary building permits, passing the final inspection, and potentially addressing any violations. I'm going to stop right there and come back to this because Umar keeps saying he told you that he didn't have no money. He told you to give him money for him and his mother and for him to keep the lights on in these buildings in this place because his goal is to get a certification of occupancy to be able to occupy this place with students and whoever. But the problem is Umar has not taken care of these buildings. These buildings are not up to code. Let me put this up here. This is probably what I wanted to put up here. The vacancy property registration. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Newcastle County government requires registration of vacant property to help track and manage these properties, especially those in despair or facing foreclosure. Can anybody tell me can anybody tell me that these buildings don't look like they're in despair? Can anybody tell me that these buildings look like they're in proper shape, that they're properly ready? Can anybody tell me that with a straight face? You can't. The annual requirements, these registration is to usually an annual requirement as long as the property remains vacant. Fees and penalties. Failure to register can lead. This is what Umar did not do. His registration, his problem goes back to 2000. I'm going to say it again. It goes back to 2020. There it is. Vacancy registration fees. He owes $15,500 because he has let it go on derelict, all the way back to 2016, December 19th, where this man was not taking care of the water or the sewage issues in terms of paying his fair share of bills. Again, fees and penalties. Failure to register can lead to penalties, and fees may increase with each year of your continual vacancy. He's been in vacancy all the way back to 2020. He's been in vacancy all the way back to 2016. This man has been in vacancy. He has never registered these schools as a legitimate entity. Oh, no, let me correct myself. He has never registered these buildings as a legitimate entity. It doesn't look like this. This is a school library right here. This is the bullshit that Umar Johnson has. So let's go down here. Rehabilitation agreement. Some cities like Wilmington may offer incentives or waive penalties if the owner agrees to rehabilitate the property. Okay. Umar's had these buildings for 6.5 years now, damn near. He has really done nothing to rehabilitate these buildings. Yeah, he's painting inside the buildings don't count. Okay. Having some electricity on in certain parts of the building don't count. Over in the big gym where someone has vandalized in there, it's trash. He has to clean all that shit up. He hasn't cleaned anything up. He doesn't have anything in proper order in these buildings. So when you just look at the big building where he has all that trash over there and he's got his own personal trash in there, it's a mess in there. What did I just read to you, ladies and gentlemen? Rehabilitation agreement. Some cities like Wilmington may offer incentives or waive penalties if the owner agrees to rehabilitating their property. Umar has done no real authentic rehabilitation. He has an AC unit on the roof that doesn't even work still.
We would owe absolutely nothing. We would owe absolutely nothing. But I asked them, and they ignored my emails for 4 months. They ignored my phone calls for 4 months. They ignored our emails for 4 months. They ignored our phone calls for 4 months. And instead, the first time I hear from them since April, the first time I hear from them since contacting them April, asking them to apply our vacant property registration fee waiver to the past 4 years, so we would owe absolutely nothing.
But the reason why Umar owes money is because he hasn't paid going all the way back to 2016, and he made a dumb real estate deal. This is why Lord Jamal told him on the podcast, did you make the best real estate decision? You got to have the right decision maker, because Umar took on the responsibility of these properties. When he purchased them, he took on the existing debt. That was part of the deal. So why did he do that? And then back in April, before his accounts got all frozen, as he claimed, why didn't he make any effort to put any type of money down to make things right? But now, after all these years have passed, Umar wants to set up here and blame everybody but himself. Now, when you look at this document here, it says water and sewage charges December 19, 2016, December 30th, 2024 through May 29th. So he hasn't taken care of the water and sewage all the way up to 2024. And if you look at some of these dates, this is already past 4 years. This man hasn't done anything. Exterior improvement, 2021. Now check this out. Exterior improvement charges $156. Why couldn't he pay that? Right? He's got a civil penalty, which is at a range of what? $300. Why didn't he pay that? The principal amount of the clocked in the date total here, because he still has the expenditures from the bigger building. This was at $17,810.77. Why didn't Umar Johnson take care of this back when? He's claiming that he was supposed to get a waiver, and I'm telling you, he wasn't eligible for a waiver because he didn't meet certain criteria. Let him continue, and I'm going to show you something else.
They ignored me since April. They ignored me since April. No phone call, no email, nothing in the postal mail since April.
Okay, then why didn't you go physically? Come on, everybody. Let's make some common sense out of this. Why didn't Umar go physically to the building, physically to the office in Wilmington? If they didn't answer your phone calls, if they didn't answer your emails, then the logical thing that one would do using logic would be, let me try going to the physical office, physically, where they can lay eyes on me, I can lay eyes on them to deal with the matter. Umar, why didn't you do that? Why did you let this linger on? Why wouldn't you go into the physical office to talk to the folks? in Wilmington, in their government about this situation. Always the victim, but never wants to take on the responsibility that comes along with this shit.
And the first thing we find out, the first time we hear from them since April, is a letter on the front door of the school.
That's what they do.
Affixed with a rubber band and masking tape.
That's right. That's right. Look. If you are living in an apartment or you're renting a house or you paying a mortgage, what does the bank do? They'll send you a letter and say, hey, you're in jeopardy of losing the house, right? Now, he said they didn't send him a letter. But you know what they also do too, everybody? They'll tack a letter on to the door of your house, of your apartment, they'll tack a letter on saying if you don't pay the rent, if you don't pay your mortgage, you're going to lose the house. They'll do that. They'll do that. So Umar is completely full of bullshit. Let's continue.
Rubber band and masking tape. Brothers and sisters, giving us 20 days to pay these back taxes.
Right, 20 days.
We already paid $30,000 for water that we don't even use.
Boom. This is the dumb part that came out of Umar's mouth. He says that they already paid $30,000 for water they don't use. Umar is dumb. If anybody listening to this podcast owns a house, owns a condo, or you live in an apartment house that you have to pay a water bill to, it doesn't matter how much water you use, you're still going to get a water bill. Now, maybe your water bill won't be as expensive if you don't use a lot of water, but you still get a bill because you still have connection to water. So Umar wants you and me to think that because he paid $30,000 for water in the past and that they haven't used much water lately, that somehow because he isn't using a lot of water currently, that he should somehow get a pass on paying his water bill. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, Umar. You would still have to pay a water bill if you had kids in those buildings. If it was a real school, you would be paying a water bill that would be sent to you. But now he wants you to feel so, he wants to be seen as a victim. He wants you to see him as a victim while he tells you and me they had the nerve to get $30,000 out of me for water we never use, fool. That's water that you potentially could have used if you had ever opened these damn buildings up into a school, fool. Let's continue. Umar is always the excuse giver. That's all he does.
We just paid $30,000 to the city of Wilmington for water that we don't even use.
Okay.
And now we got to pay another $30,000 for vacant property registration fees that we shouldn't even owe because we should have a waiver.
It's always an excuse with Umar Johnson. You notice that about him? Everything is excuses, right? This man collects money, begs, dry bags black people for money, tells you and me that he shouldn't be paying for water that they don't even use when all of us in this world pay for things that we don't use. I pay my water bill. I pay for many things. Doesn't mean that I use an overwhelming amount of water. No, but I still have to pay a water bill. See, the thing is that these are big commercial buildings, you fool. So of course you're going to have some type of water bill for the water that could have potentially been used, you dummy. Umar, and this is a man that you thought had the ability to entrust him with the ability of educating young black boys, a man who spends most of his time in rent-a-cars. And talking about how he want to crush the cookies of black women. I mean, come on, let's really be real about this, everybody. Umar Johnson is a joke. Let's continue.
We should have a waiver. We should have a waiver. And it gets worse, brothers and sisters.
Now, let me put this up. He's claiming that he should have a waiver. Let's put up some more law over here on the Information Man Show. You're going to learn something too. Right up here. This is Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington, Delaware has a regulation addressing vacant property. Owners of property deemed vacant by the city ordinance may face several actions and consequences, like you, Umar, registration and management. Why didn't he just fucking, excuse my French, why didn't Umar just register these damn buildings when he had the money? Because God knows he had money, because black people were giving him so much money, especially going back to 2020, 2016. Registration and management. The city requires vacant properties to be registered depending on the property type. The owner may need to identify a manager who resides within 30 miles, registration including financial information, the sales or the transfer deed. See, this is the problem. Umar is not transparent. If Umar is crying about how he should have had a waiver, this is the problem. Umar is not transparent. Umar is not transparent with black people who ask him the fundamental question. What is that? Hey, man, where's the school? Hey, man, when is the school going to be open? And when you ask him that question, he calls you a coon. He blocks you on social media. He puts you in the book of Negroes and all those sort of things. Right, but we put this back up here. So Umar probably didn't get this waiver because he didn't do the little things that would have probably made it possible. And then you also have to prove that you are a nonprofit. And I don't really believe that Umar Johnson has a legitimate nonprofit because he never shows you paperwork on anything. Another thing, he didn't even show you the paperwork that he claimed that was put on his door in this video that he's doing right here. He's always just telling you stuff, but he doesn't show you. He never shows and proves. Vacant properties to be registered depending on the property type. The owner may need to identify a manager who resides within 30 miles, registration including financial information, the sales or the transfer deed, the insurance carrier, and the plan to address the reason for the vacancy, violations and fines, failure to properly register a vacant property or maintain it, which he has not, according to the city codes of Wilmington, can lead to fines. For instance, failing to comply with the trigger for establishing a vacant status. This is why Umar is in this mess. This is why it's getting worse for Umar. This is why it's gotten bad for Umar Johnson.
It gets worse because they are raising the vacant property registration fee.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They are raising the vacant property registration fee. This
Can you pay this money right here, Umar?
Fall from $5,000 a year to $12,000 a year.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. They are raising the vacant property registration fee this fall.
Right.
From $5,000 a year to $12,000 a year.
Now, everybody, Umar, once again, is doing what he always does. He repeats words to get into your self-conscious, your unconscious, to drive home a point that he's trying to make with you, to convince you that he's a victim when he's not. Yeah, everything is going up, Umar. Eggs are more expensive. There's inflation. Everything's going up. We got the Donald Trump tariffs that are taking effect. People's rents are going up. People's gas prices are going up. But you wouldn't know that because you don't have a damn job, Umar, and you need to get a damn job. He doesn't have a job and he should get a job, okay? Umar Johnson is acting like they raised the price from $5,000 to $12,000 only for him. No, they're raising the bar for everybody that has property. And like I showed you earlier, he's not the only one on the list. These other companies are on the list that you see on the screen. These are other businesses, not just his so-called school, but you have other businesses that are in the same jeopardy. Everybody who opens up a business in this community is subject to $12,000, Umar, not just you. But you're using that cadence and repeating as if they're targeting just you. That's what you want people to believe. And you're so foolish, man.
Brothers and sisters, I want y'all to get ready for a protest.
Here we go.
I want all FDMG donors and supporters to get ready for a protest. We may have to march on City Hall, brothers and sisters. We may have to march on City Hall because of the racism. I'm going to call it what it is, racism.
So Umar wants you to believe that what is happening to him, and let me just say this again for everybody out there, racism is a real thing. Institutionalized racism is a real thing in America. Black people have been a victim of racism. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like that doesn't exist. But I'm sorry. Umar wants you to think that this is racism against him because they raised the fees from $5,000 to $12,000, and because they didn't give him the notice that he thought that he should have gotten when this man knew that he had debt going all the way back to 2016. He knew it. So he's trying to make it a racial issue when those fees impact other people who are in jeopardy just like him. Once again, instead of him just saying, you know what, everybody, I effed up, I messed up, I'm sorry, I need help, I'm overwhelmed, I need a crew of people to help me, I need to get with someone who's an expert on real estate because I realize that I don't know shit about real estate, and at this point, those buildings are real estate. Instead of him being honest and transparent like that, once again, he wants to get you black people to put yourself out there on the streets to protest in his behalf. And he wants you to think that you're protesting for a black school, that they're trying to stop him from opening, when really he's trying to get you to do the dirty work for him, because Umar Johnson doesn't get himself dirty. Umar Johnson brought this on himself. Let's continue.
Discriminatory treatment. Why did we get no notification that y'all were going to sell our schools? Why did you not respond to any of our emails to retroactively apply our vacant property registration fee waiver?
I'd like to know, Umar, why is it that you never show any receipts for anything that you're talking about? Why is it that we can't see any receipts? Why is it that he can't show you documents that prove that he had a waiver? Why can he never show you any of these things? Okay, let me put something up right here. Violations and fines: failure to properly register vacant property or maintain it according to city codes can lead to fines. That's what Umar Johnson's looking at. Lead to fines and maybe selling off the property. For instance, failing to comply with the triggers for establishing a vacant status for 90 consecutive days can result in a $500 fine. So right here, they're telling you that if you don't register within 90 days, they'll hit you with a this is in Delaware, Wilmington, y'all. They'll hit you with a $500 fine. This fine increases by $500 for each subsequent 90 days up to about a maximum of $6,000 per structure per year. Registration fees also vary depending on the property type and the duration of the vacancy. Inspections and orders. The City Department of License and Inspections. This is why Umar Johnson's school will never be open, because he hasn't gone through any of this shit. Inspections. LNI inspects renters. They inspect renters to property to ensure that they meet property maintenance standards. If code violations are found, the LNI will issue orders to correct the issue. So let's say Umar, and I bet you this happened to Umar. They probably gave Umar a letter or issued him some type of warning that he needed to correct some things up there that he didn't do. That's why he didn't get this so-called waiver. He keeps focusing on a waiver, but not addressing why he didn't pay even the lowest amount of bills that he owed money on. This is crazy. And then the bigger question is, why did he buy property that had some debt on it already, which he took on that extra debt? That was dumb. That was a dumb business move on his part. Let's continue.
I knew they didn't want Dr. Umar in Wilmington. I didn't know it was this bad. I knew that the power structure, I'm not talking about the brothers and sisters in the community. They love us. Shout out to our Wilmington, Delaware family. Shout out to our Wilmington, Delaware family. They love Dr. Umar and FDMG. I'm talking about the power structure of Wilmington, Delaware. We knew they didn't want us in that city, but we didn't know they would go this far.
So the question is, if they didn't want you there, Umar, this is a logical question, everybody. Why would they sell Umar Johnson property that they didn't want him in or him in the community? Why? Why? And then why did Umar never register the buildings as a school? Why didn't he do anything to let the community know this is what this is going to be? We're here. We're developing. Why didn't he make it known? Because he wants to try to use anything. See, he wanted to get over. This is the thing. I believe Umar wanted a waiver so that he could spend the money that he collected from black people on himself, so that he can lie to you, everybody, and tell you, I spent this much money. I spent this on that. See, Umar, this is why Umar is mad that they put the document on his door, if that's true. This is why Umar is mad that the truth has come out on social media, that we're all talking about him, because Umar doesn't want you to know that he owed all this money. Umar wanted to get a waiver so that he could lie to you about how much money he paid or didn't pay, so that he could pocket some of that. Well, I think he's already been pocketing money. And everybody, money gone, y'all. Money is gone. Money gone, child. Money gone, child.
As to ignore us for 4 months and try to sell the school behind our backs. I didn't know they would go this far. As to ignore us for 4 months and try to sell the school behind our backs. I didn't know they would go this far. To ignore us for 4 months and try to sell our schools that we've been working on for 6.5 years behind our backs. So brothers and sisters, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fight like hell to get our money from the bank. We're going to pay off this vacant property registration fee waiver. And we might still have a protest at City Hall, because this is wrong, brothers and sisters. I have emailed the mayor. I have gotten no response. I have emailed the chief of staff. I have gotten no response. I have emailed the city council president. I have gotten no response.
Everybody, can we use some logic right here? Is Umar really going to be able to pay $38,388.22? You put that in the comment section of this video. But let's use some other common sense. Umar now is telling you that he's been writing the mayor. He's been writing all the big wigs of the city of Wilmington. Do you all know, if this was true, Umar would have been come out months ago and told us that he was having these problems with the city. He would have come out a long time ago and said, I'm dealing with racism, y'all. They're trying to hold us, because that's his stick. Umar would have made it known a long time ago, because he runs his mouth on social media 24/7 a day. He would have made it known a long time ago that the powers that be in Wilmington were ducking and diving from him, that the mayor has not been. He would have been told us all. Now, all of a sudden, he's been busted. He's been exposed. And now, everybody, I've been trying to contact the mayor. I've been trying to contact the city treasurer. Nobody wants to talk to me. I wonder why, Umar. What's really going on?
So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to meet with my team, and we're going to decide if we're going to go ahead and have this protest. And it ain't going to be one. We're going to do multiple protests. And we're going to invite our donors and supporters from across the state of Delaware, our donors and supporters across the United States, and our donors and supporters across the entire planet. We may have to march on Delaware to let them know that you don't treat black people like this.
Now he wants to make his derelictness, his lack of fiscal responsibility, he wants to make it about a movement now, a movement of them being racist towards black people. He wants to make, you see what he's doing? You see how he's gaslighting? You see how he is creating a distraction by now saying, we're going to do a big old march and I'm going to talk to my team. I want to know, who is Umar Johnson's team? Because every time we see Umar Johnson, he's by himself. He's by himself, whether he be in a rent-a-car like this. He's always by himself, everybody. He's by himself in a hotel room. He's by himself in the car. We never see a crew of anybody up there with him in those abandoned buildings. Where is this so-called crew that Umar Johnson says he has to consult a crew? A crew of who? Who are these people? Because we don't see anybody around Umar. We just see Umar. And you notice when Umar went out there to New Jersey to speak and at a bookstore as well, he put all these pictures of him hugging up with black women. That's really what this man is into. That's really what this is all about. This is about him getting money. It's about him trying to get into the pants of black women. It's about him trying to paint the image of himself that is a false, and I mean a falsehood. Everything about this guy is a falsehood, trying to get into the pants of black women. I'm saying again, everything about this guy is falsehood. You can't trust anything that Umar tells you because he lies out of his mouth. Let's hear some more.
Because if I was white, I wouldn't have been treated like this. If we were Asian, we wouldn't have been treated like this. If we were Arab, we wouldn't have been treated like this. If we were Jewish, we wouldn't have been treated like this. But we were treated like this because we were black. How dare you ignore us for 4 months and then put a sign on our door without even telling us that you're going to sell our property?
I don't believe Umar. I want to show y'all something else. Right here. Delaware, specifically Wilmington, a waiver for property related to issues will not be, here we go. Listen to me, everybody. A waiver, because he keep talking about he should have had a waiver that should have been 4 years so they didn't have to pay no extra money. I'm gonna read this again. Wilmington and Delaware, specifically Wilmington, a waiver for property related to issues would not be granted if the city believes the issue is not within their control, or if the waiver would contradict the existing regulations or policy. Additionally, a waiver might be denied. If they denied Umar, this would be the real reason, y'all. This is their law. It's denied if it's deemed to negatively impact the public safety. You know why? Those trap bandos up there are not safe for public people to be in. The public safety, the welfare, or if it goes against Delaware Board of Incompetence policy, which protects the state and its employees under specific circumstances. These are the laws, y'all. Here's more detail breakdown. A lack of city control. If the issue requires a waiver is outside of the city jurisdiction or responsibility, they may not grant it. Violation or regulatory regulations or policies. Waivers are typically not granted if they conflict with existing city ordinance, zoning laws, or other established regulation. So they may not have given him any of these things because of some violations that the property was probably already in. And Umar purchased these properties when it already had some debt on it that he took on.
Brothers and sisters, why didn't we receive a certified letter? Why didn't we receive a certified letter? Why didn't we receive an email? Why didn't we receive a phone call? Oh, we not going to quit. We not going to give in. The only thing left on the elementary school is to lay down the tile. We're going to lay down this tile, and we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy.
Boom. I'm glad he said that, because this is what I've been wanting to get back to the first time around. Let's play a little bit more of this, and I'm going to shut down what he's talking about.
We're going to lay down this tile, and we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. We're going to lay down this tile, and we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy.
Umar is telling you, in a nutshell, that all he has to do is lay down tile in these schools, and now he can apply for a permit or registration of occupancy. He is out of his damn mind if he thinks he's going to get that certificate, because there are codes that you must follow to get such a certificate to open up a so-called school. He does not have a library with books like that. You think this place is going to be given an occupancy registration certificate? Let me let y'all see something right here. Boom. To get a certificate, this is what I was reading earlier, but I said I was going to come back to it. To get a certificate of occupancy in Wilmington, Delaware, you'll need to ensure that the property meets the local building codes and safety regulation. All Umar Johnson is talking about is some damn laying some tile on the floor. There's other things that have to be in order for him to get such a certificate. This man is crazy. This involves attaining necessary building permits. Umar doesn't have any of those, okay? Passing a final inspection and potentially addressing any violations or necessary repairs. These damn buildings need all type of repair, y'all. All type of repair. Let's stop playing around here. Passing a final inspection and potentially addressing any violation of necessary repairs, I said before. A certificate of occupancy, CO, signifies that a building is safe for occupancy and legally ready for people to live in or use. Are you telling me that Umar, all he has to do, everybody, is lay down the tile in these buildings, and that he's ready to have people able to occupy this because he put some tile in? What about the electricity? What about the sewage? What about everything that plays a role in this? Because according to the documents right up here again, this man has not been paying for sewage going all the way back to 2016, starting in December 19th, running all the way through December 30th of 2024 through May 29th of 2024. This is a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Civil penalties, water and sewage penalties, external, interior, exterior improvement. This man has not taken care any business. He's lying. Let's continue.
And if we have trouble getting our inspection and certificate of occupancy, we will have to march. We will have to march. We might march anyway, brothers and sisters. We're not giving up. We're not giving up, brothers and sisters. We're not giving up. We need y'all to call the mayor of Wilmington, Delaware.
Once again, Umar Johnson wants to make this about him and everybody. We all knew that he was going to do this. We all knew that Umar Johnson was going to make this thing about him being a black man, them not wanting a black school, that the system's against him, the coons are against him. We all knew that he was going to do this. It's like reading a book. You know exactly what he's going to, you know his playbook before he plays it, okay? I'm telling you, the walls are closing in on Umar. I think Umar's nervous. I think Umar is very concerned. So he's getting on social media and he's beating his chest and trying to save face for everybody. But the truth of the matter is this man is really concerned. That's why he's on here begging people, talking about, we got to march. We're going to have to march. He's telling you if he doesn't get that certificate of occupancy that they should march anyway. No, you will not get it if the properties are not up to code. That's the law. That's the law of Wilmington, Delaware. You have to be up to code with your permits and in passing inspections before they give you any such thing. Umar is out of his you-know-what mind, everybody. Out of his rabbit mind.
We need y'all to call the mayor's chief of
Now we're talking
staff
about
in
mayors.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, man.
We need
please.
y'all to call the city council president of Wilmington, Delaware. We need y'all to call the commissioner
No, Umar.
of license and inspections of Wilmington, Delaware.
Umar, why don't you take your big fat behind to City Hall and go meet with these people yourself and make your demands? Why do you need other people to fight your battles? But you put yourself in this situation from the very beginning.
We need y'all to call the vacant property office of Wilmington, Delaware, and demand that those unjust fees be removed from our account. Let them know that you are a donor of FDMG. Let them know you are a supporter of FDMG. And let them know that if this situation is not right.
Let me read this. Now he's talking about he wants to do an all-out protest. He's crazy. Let me read this to you. Other potential requirements, parking landscape requirements, like if you're going to have, you got fees, there may be fees associated with the application, inspection, and other necessary permits. So you got to pay fees for the inspectors to come in. Umar is not handling the what we call the business in a proper manner.
We will march on the city and we will sue the city of Wilmington, Delaware.
On what basis,
we will
Umar?
Sue the city of Wilmington, Delaware.
Umar, you just told us that you got no money, that your bank accounts are frozen, and now you want us to believe that you're going to sue the city of Wilmington, which is going to cost you money. You got to get a lawyer. That's going to cost you money, but you're saying you don't have any money. Make that make sense. Just like he made threats about getting a lawyer on Honors and everyone that's been talking about him, Umar ain't got no money to do a damn thing. This man is just running his mouth because he's angry that so many things are coming out that's exposing him. Okay?
Delaware for racism and discriminatory treatment. If you need to reach me, 215-989-9858, text message only. 215-989-9858, text message only. 215-989-9858, text message only. This is your brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, letting you know that I'm still standing for Black people. I'm still riding for Black boys, and we will open the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. No racism from the city of Wilmington will stop us. No sabotage from the city of Wilmington will stop us.
He also made mention, everybody, that you noticed that he said that he's still committed to Black boys. Last time I checked, remember, how can we truly believe that he's going to be able to help Black boys when this man can't even help his own daughter? This man hasn't been there for his own daughter. Matter of fact, this man is a baby maker. This man's got 3 kids out there. He's got baby mamas out there, and he doesn't do anything for any of his children. This man has no job, no real employment. He's been living off of your donations, off of Black people's donations for years now, and living off this reputation that he's the most requested psychologist in the Black conscious community, and making money off of the chicken circuit of going around talking, giving speeches, and running his mouth. This man is not to be trusted. He can't even take care of his own daughter, let alone telling you that he's got the answer to Black boys. That's laughable. It's very laughable. Let's continue.
Tomorrow morning, get on your telephone and call the mayor. Tomorrow morning, get on your telephone and call the mayor's chief of staff. Tomorrow morning, get on your telephone and call the commissioner for license and inspections. Tomorrow morning, call the city council president of Wilmington and ask them, why was Dr. Umar in FDMG ignored for 4 months when he was trying to rectify this problem? Why was Dr. Umar in FDMG Academy ignored for 4 months while he was trying to rectify this problem?
Here goes. Now, this is when you let people like Umar talk, their lies and the lies and the truth gets entangled, because really what happens is that the lie is really what comes out. Umar just told you for 4 months he's been trying to deal with the situation. But we know that the records show that his debt goes all the way back to 2016. Why didn't Umar take the donated money that he's been getting all these years, right? Why, this is my question, everybody. Why didn't Umar take care of certain bills that were much cheaper? Why didn't Umar take care of these bills back in 2016? That's my question to you. Now he's telling you over the last 4 years he's been trying to get in contact with the officials in Wilmington, and no one is answering him. And the last time I checked, whenever you owe taxes, whenever a city wants money out of you, they let you know. They don't they never pussyfoot around with getting their money. They never BS around. They let you know sooner than later that you owe them money. So I don't believe that part of his position. But why didn't he take care of these responsibilities way before the 4 years that he's claiming that he should have got a waiver right now? Why didn't he take care of that? So when you look at the paperwork on this man again, why didn't he take care of these basic things? Like, for example, I'm going to say it again. He had a civil penalty charge of $300. Why didn't he pay $300? He had an exterior improvement charge of $156.60. Why didn't he pay that simple payment? See, there's no excuse. I'm going to say it again. His debt goes back to December 19, 2016 to December 30th, 2024 through May 29th of 2024. He's also got exterior improvement charges that he occurred in 2021. He's got the vacant registration that he never paid. That goes all the way back to 2020. It goes all the way into 2025 as of right now. Make that make sense, everybody. Umar is lying. He's been lying for a long time. He continues to lie. He needs to stop his lies. He just won't stop his lies, but he continues his lies to try to tell you that his lies are truth when his lies are exactly what they are. Lies. He's not telling the truth. The truth is not in Umar Johnson at all. To tell you the truth, to be transparent with you. The man is not transparent. The man is not an honest broker whatsoever, everybody. This is crazy. This is the Information Man, y'all. I hope you've been enjoying the program. Let's get back to this part.
Brothers and sisters, they could have simply told us no. Brothers and sisters, they could have simply told us no. Brothers and sisters, they could have simply told us no. We will not retroactively apply your vacant property registration fee waiver. No problem. We could have got a payment plan. No problem. We could have got a payment plan. No problem. We could have got a payment plan. But instead of responding to me.
No. Umar, this is what everybody needs to know. There's no guarantee that Umar Johnson was going to get a payment plan. The man's debt goes all the way back to 2016. The question again, why didn't you get a payment plan for the bills that you owed all the way back to 2020? Why didn't you get a payment plan for the stuff that you owed back in 2016? You probably were not able to get a payment plan because they were probably tired of dealing with your ass.
The first week of April. Instead of responding to me the first week of April. Instead of responding to me the first week of April, they ignore us for 4 months and put a sign on our door this past weekend.
Right.
They ignore us for 4 months and put a sign on our door this
That's
past
right.
weekend saying we're going to sell these schools.
Right.
If you don't pay our money.
Right.
We're not going to email you.
Because
we're not going to send you a letter in the mail. We're not going to call you. We're going to put a letter on your door.
They have a right to do that.
That somebody can take and run off with, as somebody did.
Doesn't matter.
They took the letter off the high school
and
sent it to YouTube, the struggle streamers. What if they took the letter off the elementary school? What if they took the letter off the elementary school? What if they took the letter off the elementary school? Brothers and sisters, we need your donation.
Umar Johnson is a complete liar. he would have been notified, even if people took a letter off the door of these buildings. Believe me, they would have notified Umar. And this is the thing, everybody. How do we know that they did not try to get in contact with Umar Johnson? How do we know that he's just simply lying to us because he has a history of lying? We only know what Umar is telling us, but he never shows us any proof, any documentation to back up his argument. So we're supposed to take a man's by his word, a man who is proven to be a liar, a manipulator, and we're supposed to just think that, oh, there's a big conspiracy against Umar Johnson in the city of Delaware, Wilmington, or the city of Wilmington in the state of Delaware, that there's some big conspiracy just against Umar Johnson. I'm not buying it. I think Umar knew exactly what was coming down the pipeline, and I think he's just trying to drum up a lot of distractions with this to make himself out to be the victim, because that's what Umar Johnson is. He's not a man. He has to be a victim in anything that has to do with holding him accountable. When he's being held accountable, like paying his bills, when he's being called out by people that he's mistreated, it's always got to be, it's a conspiracy against me. I told y'all in my last video, he was going to be talking about, it's the government. It's the government that's against me, everybody. The government. I told y'all.
Nation, so we can pay this bill. They say we owe $20,000 on the elementary school.
Right, 20,000.
They say we owe $20,000 on the high school.
That's right.
They say we owe approximately $20,000 on the elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
They say we owe approximately $20,000 on the high school. Our accounts are frozen. Our accounts are frozen. Our accounts are frozen. We need y'all to help us pay this bill. We're going to fight like hell to get our accounts freed up.
Listening to this man repeat the
same thing. We're going to fight like hell to get our accounts freed up.
Yeah,
but if we don't, y'all got to help us pay this bill and save our school.
No.
Y'all got to help us pay this bill and save our school.
No.
Y'all got to help us pay this bill and save our school. You don't have to root for me, brother. I don't need you. I got more than enough supporters. But I want everybody to know that there might be a protest soon. We need you to come in from Africa, from Europe, from Australia, from Canada.
So once again, he's telling everybody that I need you to go out there and march in the streets for me, call the mayor for me, that there's going to be a protest. You got to do something to save the school. So he's challenging black people who he's already ripped off money from. And I'm sorry, folks, money gone. Money gone. Umar Johnson, this is all what I've been saying from the very beginning. The walls are closing in on this man like a snake wrapping its tentacles around you or its body around you. This is what's happening to Umar. And he's panicking in a way, but he's hiding it with pushing this whole narrative that the system is against me. And so black people, because of that, I need you. I think Umar knew this was coming down the pipeline. I think Umar knows he's not going to be able to open up those schools. I think Umar needs a convenient way to be able to slide out of this whole school situation. And this is a perfect way to do it by saying the schools got taken away from me. And it was the white man, it was the city of Delaware or the state of Delaware, the city of Wilmington that took it away from me. This is the perfect excuse that Umar would need to get out of this scam that he can't keep going on with. This could be the perfect exit. Now, he could be afraid that he can't continue the scheme, but I think we need to also think about this could be a way for Umar to get himself out of this situation that he knows in the long run, there ain't going to be no school. So now he can just go around, make himself out to be a victim because, hey, he can go around on all these podcasts and say, hey, I was close to opening up a school. All I had to do was lay some tile down and we was going to be open. Even though I read to you the laws in Wilmington, you have to do a lot more to get your residencies or what have your buildings open up. Umar Johnson, I think, is either he's lying, he's manipulating. I think he knows what's going on because that's why his accounts are frozen, so he says. And maybe Umar has a plan, an exiting strategy, and this could be that too. So you got to look at it at all angles because Umar is a slicker than a Snicker bar type of individual. So everybody, I want to thank you for watching this podcast. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Umar Johnson and now him coming out and admitting that he realizes that the schools are possibly up for auction. He says that he's going to pay the debt. We'll see what happens. But leave comments. Give me your honest thoughts about tonight, my program. You know, everybody, I appreciate you out there. This is going to be blowing up all over the YouTube streets, y'all. Umar Johnson brought all this crap on his own because he's not an honest broker. He's not an honest person. And we've been saying over and over again, hey, man, where's the school? Umar Johnson, what can I say, man? You really, really have been, you've been screwing up. And we know it. And now those walls are truly closing in on you. There's no doubt in my mind. Everybody, definitely leave comments on this video. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the Information Man Show. We tell the truth over here always. And subscribe, hit the bell notification. I want y'all to share this video all over social media, whatever social media that you use. Spread the word about this man. He's just not, he's not a leader. He's not even honest with black people. He's not even honest with himself about what's going on. Umar Johnson is problematic on so many levels that I don't know what to say. He's a user of black women, manipulator of black women, and he's been collecting money for years now. I think this scam has been going on almost close to 20 years now. He conceived the idea of a school in 2004, but started collecting in 2005. A lot of people don't realize that. Man is very manipulative, very sly. I don't believe anything that Umar Johnson says out of his mouth. And now he's sitting up here telling black people to get ready for a big protest, to rally around him and protest and make some noise. He's trying to make the excuse for him not paying his registration fees, to get his buildings off the vacant list, for him not taking care of certain economic responsibilities that were his responsibility. Now he has to say that it's because of racism that they're doing this to him. The man's out of his mind. He is a goof. Okay? It's crazy. All right, everybody. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Like I said, share the video. Make it do what you can make it do. Let me, should I read one? No, I think I'm fine. I was going to read something else that I put up in the law. But everybody, I want y'all to have a good day wherever you are in the world. Tell someone you love them. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Truth Media Vlogs, my vlog channel, Truth Media Vlogs. Truth Media Vlogs. Get over there, subscribe. We're doing some good things over there, too. Y'all take care. Peace. Let's get on out of here. Peace. Y'all take care. Peace, everybody. I appreciate you.